All right, Premier League predictions for this upcoming season. Now, I don't think this is going to be a long video. Plan is just get in, make my predictions, get out, and then at the end of the season, we can see how wrong I was. Pretty sure that's the only outcome possible here. So in 20th place, I have Watford going down. I just don't know that they've done enough to stay up. And recent years has usually been the teams that come up, they go straight back down. Bar from a few exceptions like Leeds. Yeah, I don't think I have my faith in Watford to stay up this season. And then in 19th place, we have Crystal Palace. You know, new manager. They lost a lot of important players. Andros Townsend. I honestly don't want it to happen. I like Patrick Vieira, I like the manager, I like all the players. So if I was up to me, I would hope that they would stay up, but I feel like they're a team that might struggle this season. So Crystal Palace in 19th. In 18th, we are going to have Brentford. Following along the same lines that I said that teams coming up usually go straight back down. They're definitely not a bad team by any means. I just feel like compared to the strength of the rest of the league, there's a lot of teams like Newcastle, Burnley, Brighton, Wolves, Leeds. There's a lot of teams above them that have proven that they can stay in the league, and I feel like Brentford, they're like a step below them. So for that reason, they're sitting in 18th. Now in 17th, I have Southampton. You know, they lost Danny Ings. They're going to lose Vestergaard to Leicester, looks like. I know they just made 2 signings. I think it was a new striker. I think they signed Armstrong. I could be wrong, but I think that's who they signed. They've had a few struggling seasons, and I think losing Danny Ings, I think that's going to hurt them a lot. So they're going to need Shea Adams to step up, but I think Southampton, they're going to struggle, and I have them in 17th. Now for 16th, I have Burnley. I feel like Burnley will not be relegated this season, but I think it'll be a tough season. I can't even think of any signings they've made or any big name signings. I mean, it's Burnley. They usually don't anyways. But is that core of players they have there good enough to keep them out of the relegation zone? I believe so. But I also still feel like it's going to be a tough season. So 16 for Burnley. 15th, I have Norwich. Now, they've made some pretty good signings, actually. They signed Rashica. They got Josh Sargent, the young American striker from Werder Bremen. Now, this is one that could go horribly wrong and they get relegated. But I feel like if there's a team to stay up this season, I feel like Norwich seem more likely more than Brentford and Watford. They were in the Prem, they spent 1 season back in the Championship, and now they're back. I feel like they've invested the money decently, so I'm backing them to stay up this season. That's why they're in 15th. 14th, I'm gonna have Newcastle. I feel like it's gonna be just a mid-table season for them. It could be worse. It could be worse, but I think it'll be 14 for Newcastle. I think that core of players they have, like again, like Burnley, this time I just think it's good enough to keep them farther away from the relegation zone. In 13th, we're gonna have Brighton. They've made some decent signings recently, so I think that'll keep them at 13 mid-table. I don't think they'll be fighting a relegation fight this season, so pretty boring, but pretty much mid-table team. Now I'm gonna go Wolves at 12. They lost Nuno, so new manager, a lot of new players. Feels like they finished in the top 10 the last like 2 seasons or 3 seasons, but this season I have them at 12. I just think losing Nuno is going to be huge, and then they're going to need Raul Jimenez to have a great season coming back from that injury. So I think basically just due to losing Nuno, they're gonna be in 12th. And then 11th place is going to go to Leeds. I feel like they have cemented themselves as a Premier League team. Like their players aren't the best, but Bielsa is such a good manager that I think he knows how to keep a team up. I just really like him as a manager, so I think he'll keep Leeds straight at mid-table at 11. And then at 10th, I have Everton. So they lost Ancelotti. They still have James Rodriguez. It's just a lot of uncertainty around Everton. So I think a 10th place finish is pretty much where they'll be this season. Not lower and not higher. All right, getting into the top half, I have Villa at 9. Now, this is another one that could go horribly wrong, but I feel like they lost Grealish and they've invested that money pretty well. They brought in Leon Bailey, Buendia, just brought in a proven goal scorer in Danny Ings. So they haven't tried to replace Jack Grealish directly, which I don't think is possible, but they've brought in a few players with the money. So I have a good feeling about Villa this season, so that is why they are in 9th. All right, top 8. I have the top 8 starting with Tottenham. So today it was just revealed that Man City are going to come in for Kane again with 150 million. I just have a strong feeling Kane wants to leave. I have a strong feeling he's going to go to Man City this season. And then Spurs are going to try to scramble and try to replace him like the last 15 days of the window. They just signed Son on a huge contract or a new contract extension, so he's there to stay. I just feel like their team might not be enough to finish top 7 or top 6, so they're in 8 for me. Now next one is another one that could go horribly wrong, but that is the point of this, so you guys can make fun of me at the end of the season. I have West Ham in 7th. They have literally made, feels like 0 transfers, but for some reason, looking at the teams below them, I think they have a better shot at finishing above those teams. David Moyes, he did a great job last season, even though they will be in the Europa Conference, I believe, so The travel is gonna be heavy on that squad. I don't think that squad's that big to begin with. So I just have a good feeling about West Ham this season. I think they'll finish above Tottenham in 7th. But unless they make some crazy signings in the next few weeks, I don't see them finishing top 6. Now, starting the top 6, I have Arsenal. You know, kind of like the same, kind of an underwhelming window. I don't think they're done doing transfers by the time we're making this video, but kind of underwhelming. I feel like Mikel Arteta needs a strong first half of the season. Otherwise, he might be gone. And I don't know. I feel like they've spent too many seasons like in the 9, 8, and 7. I feel like they're gonna have a season where they finish 6th. I don't think it'll be higher than that. If anything, it'll be lower. But for this predictions, I have Arsenal at 6. Now I have Leicester at 5th. I think the top 5 is gonna be pretty straightforward. I think Leicester in 5th. They've signed Daka, Sumare. It looks like they'll hold on to Maddison, maybe. So if they do, that's gonna be huge. And I feel like Brendan Rodgers just has a very good hold of that team. So I think the teams above them are too good where they won't finish top 4, but I think they'll finish in the Europa League spot at least. All right, top 4 begins. I have Man United in 4th. So they just signed Sancho and Varane, which are just 2 huge, great signings. But I still feel like they need more if they want to make top 3. I feel like they need... Cavani's okay up top, but I feel like they do need another striker. But more so, they need a new midfielder, a new CDM. Like if they sign like an Ndidi or like someone like that to be their new CDM, I think they'd be in a much more favorable spot. But even with Sancho and Varane, I don't think they will finish top 3. I think the teams above them, I think, have a better squad overall. And one of those teams with a better squad, in my opinion, is Chelsea. They just signed Lukaku, coming off a Champions League trophy. I feel like the top 3 is going to be very interchangeable throughout the season. I feel like Chelsea could easily finish 2nd. I feel like they could maybe win the title, but I feel like Lukaku is going to have to just go crazy to do that. They have a great manager, so I don't know, it could be better, but I have Chelsea at 3. Now, instead of going for the boring, obvious pick, I have Man City at 2nd and Liverpool in 1st. Now, I am a Liverpool fan. We have Van Dijk back. We have Konate. We have Gomez back. If players stay healthy, I feel like we might get back to that form, even with the lack of signings this window. We have Harvey Elliott coming through in the preseason, has looked so good. And who knows, we might make a signing or 2 before the window closes, even though I doubt it. Now, in my brain, do I think Liverpool have a better chance of winning it over City? No, especially if City get Kane. If City get Kane, then this video is redundant. Give them the title. You know what? I'm a Liverpool fan. You know, there's a thing called speaking things into existence. So that is exactly what I'm doing. So I am predicting Liverpool win the title. They reclaim the title, but Man City could easily go back to back and win this season. So like I said, I think that front 3 is pretty interchangeable, but these predictions are also about getting it towards the right direction. You know, the most accurate is not always the best. If you get teams generally in the right spot, maybe like 2 to 3 spots around that, I think that is more important, roughly getting the table. So yeah, if City get Kane, then yeah, that is the title for Man City. If you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate you dropping a like, also subscribing. We do a lot of FIFA career mode content, also PES Master League content on this channel, just everything football related. So if you are interested in that, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And my lord, I hope Man City do not get Kane. Otherwise, I am gonna cry.